Is this the most obvious insider trading in American political history? We're gonna give you the facts and I'll let you decide. It involves Republican Representative Mike Kelley, who you can see right here looking like Temu John McCain. And it's not actually him that did the insider trading, although he was necessary for it to happen. See, they've been investigating now for a number of years a very suspicious trade. And in the report, which has now been released and effectively said, nothing to see here. That's what's so infuriating about this. Committee officials say that Kelley violated the House's code of conduct by failing to meet his duty of candor as they investigated his wife's decision to buy stock in a company that operated a local steel plant that was at risk of closing. So let's give you all the details on that trade. So Kelley's wife, Victoria Kelley, bought 5,000 shares of Cleveland Cliffs stock, which sounds like a sports team, for $23,000 or so. This is back in April 2020. That was the day after her husband was informed by his staff that Trump administration officials decided to take steps to implement tariffs on imports that could keep the company's 2 steel plants, including one in his district, open. Kelley's wife later sold her shares for $87,000, earning nearly 65 grand in profit. So, I don't know, more than tripling her investment, okay, in less than 1 year. A pretty nice little profit on that trade. She noted, it's a small part of my portfolio, so everybody should really get off her back. It doesn't matter if you do insider trading, if you're so fabulously wealthy that the insider trading is a small part of your overall trading. That doesn't actually make any sense to me, but that's the argument she's making here. Take a look at this chart, which shows when she bought the shares on the left and what ended up happening to the value of that stock in comparison to the specific part of the S&P that has to do with metals and mining industry. And so it drastically outperformed not only the overall market, but that specific industry. And she bought it immediately after finding out a crucial bit of information that was not available to you or I, that gave her an insider advantage in understanding what was likely to happen with that stock. Now, she declined to participate in an interview with this. She barely was involved in the investigation at all. She said that she cooperated with document requests as well as health concerns. So over the course of a multi-year investigation, she was sick the entire time, I guess, and could not participate in this. All of you peasants need to get off of her back, okay? She just made she just made, what you make in a year or two from the insider information her husband gave her. Why are you being so mean about the entire thing? And coming out of it, we're now done with this, by the way, basically. She's not going to jail for this. He's not going to jail. And he says, this investigation has unnecessarily lasted for nearly 5 years. My family and I look forward to putting this distraction behind us. It is just insider trading. He got information, she immediately acted on it. She tripled the value of her investment. How are they not in prison, Jayar?
Well, because they're not athletes, John. I was just thinking about this. We accept cheating from rich people who are politicians or spouses of politicians doing whatever the hell they want. And then their excuse really will be, don't bug me about this. Do you know who I am? But if you cheat in sports, which I think is a big enough deal because it's competition and money's being made and lots of money shifts hands. But if your name is Barry Bonds, Pete Rose, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, all those baseball players that cheated in different ways, maybe with like performance enhancement versus just gambling the way Pete Rose did, never to be forgiven. There's all kinds of controversy about how Pete Rose and Hall of Fame and everything, and people are like vehement about it. Will stand on business based off of it. But over this, we'll move on when they're stealing money that you don't have access to being able to do yourself because you're not in the privileged class to do all this stuff. Why are we so hell-bent on these important issues of sports cheating, but we have no issue with actual money getting taken and spent in ways of manipulating markets because these guys have been put in positions by us voting certain people in office that then allows them to enrich themselves further. We're such a backwards ass society. It's appalling how much we'll watch this happen and accept these types of excuses. Like, please get off my back, you peasants. What's wrong with you?
Remember, like when
imagine
Nancy
Barry Bonds
Pelosi
would say that? What if Barry Bonds?
Oh no, 100%. Yeah. No, they'd have a problem with that. Nancy Pelosi was like all like defensive about limiting individual stock ownership. And then the Republicans were like, aha, we see an opening. Put us in charge and we'll actually get it done. And then they were put in charge and they didn't do it. Because they want to make the money. I mean, it's the most obvious thing in the world. These people they found a loophole. They get to cheat and make money, and they're not gonna give that up until they are forced to give that up. And for some reason, people, a lot of Democrats and basically every Republican voter out there is just perfectly fine with it, and they will do nothing to stop this.